Hello everyone, welcome to the Northland Artist Conversation. I am your host, Mark Kelly. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Behind the cameras tonight, we've got Editor Rocky. Editor Rocky, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. He's throwing the thumbs up. Good for you. It's been this podcast, Manu King. Manu, I will say, Editor Rocky, I'll say one word to describe it. I'm going to sum it up in one word, and that is amazing. And I'm going to throw it in my wide camera. I'm going to throw it in my camera. That was the wide one. I'm going to throw it in my camera now. The reason I say it was amazing is Manu was someone that we'd been trying to get on the podcast for a wee while. He is a family member of former guest Cheryl Mai. And we originally tried to get him on last year. For whatever reason, it wouldn't happen. Couldn't happen. We desperately tried to make it happen, but it just didn't happen. So when I reached out to him again this year, he was like, yeah, bro, I'm in. I was like, cool, awesome. And I'm going to give a shout out to my brother Glenn down in Ashburton for basically messaging me and saying, you need to get Manu on. So I was like, okay, cool. So we've got Manu on. There you go, Glenn. Hope you're happy. The reason I say that his podcast is amazing because like some of our other guests, Manu brings in some of his creations. Now, Manu's a bladesmith, and he brings in some of his knives, and oh my God, they are amazing. So if you get to watch the podcast, you will get to see what I'm talking about. If you listen to it, I try to be as descriptive as possible, because they are absolutely beautiful works of art. And he does share something unbelievable. And I mean, I'm talking so far out there about a project that he's going to be starting to work on that I wouldn't have believed it. And even when we were talking beforehand, before we came in and sat down, he told me, and I still couldn't believe it, because it was the most bonkers thing I'd ever heard of. And I was like, yep, this is next level. And amazing stuff. So tell you what, how about you guys who are watching and listening, let's get into it. Let's sit down and have a conversation with Manu King. You know what? It's interesting. The number of people we've had in the chair where you are at the moment, there seems to be a bit of a perception that podcasts are intimidating. Some people don't know what they are.
I didn't.
It's and I think the easiest way to sum it up is it's just two people talking, and that's all we'll do. So I'll do this.
Yep, sure.
Manu King, welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. Northland Artists Conversation. Thank you very much for coming. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
For me, this has been really cool because we obviously tried to get you in last year. Circumstances just couldn't make it happen. So I want to shout out to my brother Glenn Bryan and Ashburton, thank you very much, for basically saying to me that I need to do it straight away. So, Glenn, I love you, bro.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, Glenn. So with this, it's going to be this will be really interesting. You will be our first swordsmith. What do you class yourself as?
I go by Bladesmith.
Bladesmith. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the main thing you do is you. It's going to sound stupid. You make blades, right? But you kind of take a raw material and then forge everything, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Okay,
yeah, that's correct.
Now, before this, we were talking before, and you have got something pretty amazing to share. That's going to be the most amazing project I think I've ever heard. But we're going to save that right till the very end, because I think that is absolutely worthy of it. In fact, Editor Rocky, I'm sure this one will interest you as well, because when I heard it, my eyes almost popped out of my head. I was like, holy shit, you've got to be kidding me. So let's go back.
Okay.
Let's go right back. Now, I've got your paperwork here that you sent through, and it is quite possibly the coolest intro line ever. So, we have the paperwork, and in our pre-interview questions, it says, tell us a little bit about your background in general, growing up, schooling, after school, etc. And you wrote, Johnny Cash once wrote a song about me. I've been everywhere, man. And I just thought, that's fucking cool. Johnny Cash, the man in black.
Everywhere, man.
That is just, it's just, as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
You know what? I'd completely forgotten that I'd written
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you've had a lot go on since the form's been...
Oh,
I
man,
know.
it's been wild.
It's been crazy. So, what do you mean by I've been everywhere, man?
Oh man, I've been moved internationally a few times. I've lived all over New Zealand.
Yeah.
I once, The Rock was doing a who's moved the most times, and I sat down and figured out I'd moved house over 43 times.
House 43.
Yeah, over
That-
43 times.
And the space of how many years?
That was your whole life that they were talking
Right,
about.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Right, so you're how old now?
37 now.
So 43 times in 37 years.
Yeah.
That's more than once a year.
Once a year, yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, and there's international moves.
Yeah.
There's moves from North Island to the South Island and
Yeah.
back. And
Oh, wow. Okay, so a lot.
yeah.
A lot. Now, you're, as a bladesmith, that, I normally say to people, so tell us about when you were a kid. I don't imagine, well, I could be wrong, but was your first creative output bladesmithing? Or was it something else? Did we take a bunch of different routes to get there? How what did you first get started in?
Yeah, it has been a roundabout sort of a trip. So as a kid, knives, swords, guns, they were off the table, man. That was an absolute no-go.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of a household thing?
Yeah, happy parents.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't do this,
Yes.
so I did it.
Right, okay, yep. Tell me not to do something and I'm probably going to do it.
And I'm going to do it well.
Yeah, absolutely. So were the parents kind of nomadic in nature?
My mother was. She was very nomadic. Most of the moves were with her.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Was there sort of anything with mum as you're sort of moving around that you started to gravitate towards creatively early on, or were you kind of a book guy, or?
Oh no, definitely not a book guy.
Okay.
I can read, not well, about as well as I can write.
It's not quite doctor's handwriting.
It's close.
It's pretty close.
My writing will be having an effect on how well you can read tonight.
Yes. Yes, it will. It absolutely will.
So I've always been kind of arty.
Yeah.
I can draw. I can paint. Not overly well with either of them because they never really took my fancy, but I can do it.
Yeah, sure.
I can sculpt steel. Like I've done with my artwork and stuff. It started out actually a bit of woodworking and
Is that
steel
where it all
sculpting.
started?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
are we talking like primary school or intermediate?
Oh no! So that's all a little bit later.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'm talking 6 or 7 years ago when I started actually
Right.
making a bit of money out of some stuff that I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about at school? Was there sort of
how does-
anything in there, or were you just kind of the kid that went to eat lunch?
Oh, unfortunately, I think I was kind of the kid that went to get in trouble.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Times when I couldn't be found in the classroom after the bell had gone and I was on the roof.
You said on the roof.
On the roof.
On the roof.
Yeah, on
Okay.
the roof.
Okay. Would this be the 8 different schools
Yeah.
that you went to?
Yeah. So I started out at Kuiper Flats Primary.
Okay. Yep.
That was a year, and then we moved from that school. I don't know why. And then we went to Aharoa Primary.
Okay.
And Aharoa, me and the principal didn't mesh. We clashed.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And so that was with the school that I was found on the roof.
Right, Aharoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was better up there.
It's a lot more peaceful. Less people to annoy the shit out of you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think there was something only like 36 kids in the entire school. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
More of a country school?
Yeah, definitely. Two classrooms. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't really discover your creative side until you hit intermediate, high school? Did you leave school?
I did. I left school really early. I had just turned 15.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Super early. Yeah, I got an exemption. Like I said, the creative side has always been there. It's just been coming out in drips and drabs, and I never really got a grasp on what it was or how I wanted to direct it.
Okay. Yeah.
And until a little later in life, and that just came about through trial and error.
Okay. So, 15, super early to leave school.
Yeah.
Now that would have been NCA?
Yeah, it was. It was still School C.
School C. Right,
C,
okay.
yeah.
I remember School C.
Yeah.
So you kind of left, but then what did you do from then?
So when I left school, I had to get an exemption to leave school.
Right.
And to get an exemption to leave school, I had to be going into some other form of education.
Okay.
At the time, I was more along the lines of, all right, well, what's the one that I won't hate the most?
Okay, yep, sure.
And that was how we did it. And so I went to Northland Polytechnic for a week.
A whole week.
A whole week.
It
was the most expensive week I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, it would be like $4,000.
4,700.
Yeah.
$4,700 for a week of learning. Yeah.
What did you go study?
It was, they called it seafood technology at that stage.
Seafood technology.
Yeah. And so that was actually commercial fishing.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I discovered after I'd signed up that there was no tickets to be acquired afterwards. You didn't even get a deckhands ticket, anything.
Well, what's the point?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so one of the first week, they said, right, well, there's a boat going to sea tomorrow. Who wants a bit of sea time?
Yeah.
Some experience. And I went, yeah, well, I will.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And then the skipper didn't want me to leave.
Right.
So my first week is sea trials, I got a job.
At 15 years old?
At 15 years old, yeah.
Wow.
I think I might have told him I was 16.
Okay, yeah, sure. What's a year between friends, right?
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
So that's a real tangential jump.
It was one break after leaving school for Christmas holidays, and then I was back into the Polytech, and then basically it was a week going from being a school kid to
working full time,
being a moved out of home adult in a full time job, and one of the most dangerous jobs in the country.
Yeah. Because a lot of respect for fishermen, because that's a hearty job.
It's a hard life.
Yeah, it is. And then you will have gone from being school kid, not much money, to suddenly...
Oh, I was loaded, mate.
Full-time job.
Yeah, and
with tons of cash.
Oh, absolutely. Well, back then, man, honestly, we were making a killing.
Yeah.
Money was hand over fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you... Now, there's obviously... When I lived in Mount Maunganui, over 2 decades ago, I got to know some fishermen.
Yep.
And they would go drinking at the tavern in Katikati. And that was kind of the thing they did. You would go out for 2 weeks, you'd come back in for 2 to 3 days, live at the tavern, and then go back out. Is that the lifestyle?
It was, yeah. If I'd been smart about what I'd done, I would have owned my own home by the time I was 20. If I could have had a second home by the time I was 22.
Wow.
But I pissed it all up against the wall.
Okay, right.
We partied, man.
Yes, I have seen some of those parties, and they are legendary.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, because when you're out on the boat, you're essentially working 24/7, right?
Yeah, we were. Yep.
Yeah, you have a little bit of time in quarters where you sleep.
Yep.
But even then, it's like, right, get up,
You never really stop working, even when you're asleep.
Yeah.
It's if anything happens, you're up, you're working.
Yeah.
And if the fish are on, then you don't sleep.
Yeah, right.
And you just go.
What was the longest stretch you were ever awake for? Like in a chunk?
I don't have exact hours. Things start to get blurry.
Yes.
But I know it was longer than 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So
And when I say 2 days, I mean 48 hours.
Yeah, that's 48 hours, no sleep, on a boat in the middle of nowhere, dealing with big-ass waves and fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you could be thrown over at any time.
And ironically that you say that, that's exactly what was going on. It was horrible.
Yep.
At the time. It was pretty gnarly weather. And the fish were on.
Right.
And so we were on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I can't even begin to imagine that. So, how long are you fishing for?
So it wasn't consistent. I was on and then I was off and then I was on and off, in between doing other things. But there's about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere between 8 to 10 years at sea.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing anything creative? Apart from being creative with how you drink, are you doing anything creatively?
At the time?
Yes.
There was a little bit of bone carving.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
So, okay. We were on tuna longliners. So
Okay.
we're fishing hundreds of miles out at sea.
Yeah. That's where there's no horizon.
No horizon.
Yep.
There's no bottom.
Yeah.
You know, you're 2 miles straight down.
Yep.
It's a whole lot of water.
It's big boy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you're steaming out during the day and stuff, you know, you got a couple of days out, couple of days back sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you're not on watch, and if you're not preparing gear, then it's boring. It's really, really boring. It's just mind-numbing. Either you read or you sleep.
Right, okay.
And once you've slept enough, then it's hard to keep sleeping and reading. Sure, you can only read the same stick books so many times.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the letters and forums sections end up drying up after a while. Am I right in saying that?
Either that or they get wetter.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Adult humour. We need to leave that in the edit. Okay. So, because I mean, it wasn't really like iPods or MP3 players or anything like that. So you weren't taken out like, you know.
I mean, I had a Discman.
Discman.
I had a Discman. Yeah. Yep.
With like the big book of CDs.
Yes.
And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to lie in my bunk in the forecastle, jamming out to Gorillas, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Right back when that was very
Yeah.
like right at the beginning. Yeah. When they first made a name for themselves.
That is cool. That's wicked. So you're doing your fishing and then you're kind of intermittently doing the bone carving stuff as well.
Yeah. So that was on the trip out and
Oh,
on the way
right.
back in. Yeah. Well, there's nothing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, what am I going to do?
What do you think inspired you to do bone carving?
Well, it was something I dabbled a little bit with when I was younger.
Okay,
I
right.
had a little bone carving studio that I'd set myself up when I was in intermediate, and
Really?
yeah. Like I said, I've dabbled in all sorts, but I never found the right channel to
Okay.
let the creativeness out.
Do you think that sort of bone carving for you was the gateway to being the bladesmith that you are now? Or are there other steps along the way that have kind of contributed to that journey?
No, oh man, that's such a that's a massive question.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
here for the big questions.
So, I don't know. So when I was, I don't really know how old, but I was quite young. I decided I was going to make my own blacksmith shop.
Okay.
And so I built a forge, and then started putting in. I have no idea how old I was. I know it took me like 2 weeks to build this. To build a sneaky forge.
So are we talking like still living with mum at school type stuff?
Yeah,
or?
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this stage, I was with my father. And when I say a sneaky forge, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I just started doing it. And I managed to get
Okay, yep.
I managed to get the forge built, and I managed to get 4 corner posts in before I got busted.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And so my father has always been someone who will say no without saying no.
Okay.
What are you doing? Why is this not a good idea? Why shouldn't you do this?
Yeah. Okay.
And so later in life, it got to the point where it was just like, oh God, here we go again. Okay, yep, sweet, I'll stop.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, over and
Okay.
over and over again. Yeah.
Not the positive reinforcement.
No, it was always, why shouldn't you be doing this?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're building a forge at intermediate or high school?
Yeah, it would have been about intermediate age. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I had this dream. Okay, this is what I was going to do
Share the dream.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was going to be wild. I had this. I was going to be like this a traditional blacksmith. And,
Yeah.
And then why shouldn't you be doing this?
Right.
But so it was there really early. It's
Okay.
always been there. I've always had a fascination with hand-to-hand combat weapons.
Yeah.
Any and all. And martial arts training, all that sort of stuff. Done lots of it all.
Oh, okay.
Lots of training.
Yep.
Yeah. I've done time in the army. We don't go into that very far.
Okay.
We'll
gloss over that.
Yeah, that one can another time.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of close quarter combat training,
Yeah.
bits and pieces like that, or weapons training, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's all kind of come together. Even in the commercial fishing, we're always dealing with knives.
Yes.
It's there with everything. I love to cook.
Yeah.
I love to cook. I like low and slow and firing up the pit out the back.
I was just about to say, you're a barbecue man?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have 7 different outdoor devices for cooking meat at home.
Only
7.
Only 7.
And I made them all.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. We've finished the fishing.
Yep.
And you've made that decision to go, no more. I will fish no more.
I still fish.
You still fish, but
fish.
Not at that commercial.
Not commercially.
Not at that commercial,
Yeah.
right? You made that no more commercial fishing. I value life. Choose life, damn it.
I choose life, man. Yeah.
What did you do from that point onwards? Because that's a big chunk of like if you've gone from 15 to 25.
Oh well.
And been doing it on and off.
Yeah, on and off. Okay, so the
Yeah.
the last time I actually was fishing was only 7 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So when I say on and off, it's been spread out over that massive period of time.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what have you sort of done in between, like retail or, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, there was a stint of retail. I worked at Master Trade in Wellington.
Master Trade.
Yeah, plumbing store.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up there because I'd done a year's plumbing. I was going to be apprentice, but it's a shitty job.
Plumbing?
Mm.
It's very shitty.
It's terrible.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a shit job. Right, okay. So you decided that a shitty job is not for you.
No, it wasn't for me, man. And then from there, it ended up another shitty job. I was stuck behind a counter in Wellington. Wellington was fun, but I hate cities, man.
Right, okay.
And funnily enough, lots of people.
Yes, it's often
Yeah.
how. Look, I think I lived in Wellington for a year. If you like the arts and stuff like that, amazing place. I used to live on Mount Vic.
Yeah, so did I. Brum Street.
Oh God, I can't even remember. But where the theatre is,
Yeah.
right at the end, you just go 100 meters, and then there's a little alleyway up there.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's some. Oh, they're not houses. Well, they are houses. It's like boarding units.
Yeah.
I live there.
Okay, so you know...
Edge Hill. Holy shit, I remembered it.
Yeah, okay, so you know where that is. Right behind that, there's the street that runs parallel along
Yes.
Mount Vic. Okay, that's Brum Street.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so right where the theatre is,
Yeah.
right behind that, Oh man, we are a stone's throw from each other.
Yeah, we would have been.
Yeah, yeah. There was a big old brothel on pretty much at the start of Brum Street on Mount Vic.
Yep.
And I was straight across the road from that. We used to have some wild parties at that.
Yeah.
At that brothel.
It
wasn't a brothel anymore.
No.
It was flats.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to walk down, and on a Friday night I'd walk down one side of the road.
Yep.
Get to Courtney Place.
Yep.
Cross the road, do the other side. That would be my weekend.
That'd be your weekend.
I'd do that on Friday night, recover Saturday, do it Saturday night, and then I'd be at work on Monday. I don't really remember a lot of it's a pretty chaotic time.
Yeah, Mondays are a blur.
They were. I look back on it now and I go, it takes me 3 days to recover if I have a big night, and I haven't had one in a while. I kind of gave up drinking. But back then, it's like,
oh man, we'd die now.
Yeah, I know.
There's no way I could do that.
I'd wake up and my liver would be next to me in the morning going, fuck you. Yeah.
No, mine runs away.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't hang around anymore.
So you're doing all of these, I guess, for all intents and purposes, they're kind of odd jobs scattered in between fishing.
Yeah, exactly that. So they broke up the monotony of the fishing, and then all the odd jobs, I would do them, I'd get good at them, and then I'd get bored of them.
Right, okay, so sort of short attention span type stuff?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, if there's something that I find that I really enjoy, I can dedicate myself to it, and it gets 110% of me.
Okay.
But yeah, so the monotony of those, life and that sort of aspect just
grinds you down.
Yeah, it's not for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was difficult, and I always wondered what I was gonna end up doing, and I honestly I've fallen into this. That's the ironic thing about it all.
But have you?
Well, I didn't set out to end up where I am.
No, but you've essentially turned something that was an interest that's now become a love. And they say do something you love as your job, and you'll never be unhappy. You'll actually never work a day in your life.
I don't know if my girlfriend would pay me enough to do that.
Possibly. Wait, what? I get the feeling something just kind of went over the top of my head. Listeners and viewers, if you think it did, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Northland Artist Conversation proudly supports 1737. 1737 are a free service that you can contact either via phone or text message. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. On their website, 1737.org.nz, they say, are you feeling stressed or just need to talk to someone? Are you feeling down or a bit overwhelmed? Do you know someone who is feeling out of sorts? Whatever it is, they're there for you. Free call or free text, anytime, 24 hours a day, and you'll get to talk with a trained counsellor or talk with a peer support worker. Their service is completely free. They offer brief one-on-one counselling support sessions for those people that need it a little bit more than normal. Please do not be afraid to reach out if you need support or if you know someone else that needs support as well. 1737 are a fantastic service, and we here at the Northland Artist Conversation are very, very proud to support what they do. 1737, free text or free call. Now, for the astute viewers of the podcast, for those of you listening, unfortunately, you won't get the next lot, but I will be as descriptive as possible. You have brought in some amazing-looking tea towels.
I have, yeah. And that's all they are. There's nothing else in there.
There's nothing else in there, but these are your original tea towels from when you were living with Mum and travelling around. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually my early nappies.
Early nappies. Well, in all seriousness, you've bought, is it 2 or 3?
I have 3 knives in here.
3 knives. Now, we're going to see something pretty amazing here. This will be a huge first for us. You've bought in your very first knife.
First knife I ever made.
And how old were you when you made this? I was going to throw you on the spot always.
Yeah, you were, because I've already told you I don't know.
I know, that's why I'm asking it, because it's the douchey question that I'm going to ask.
Man, honestly, I have no idea, but I was old enough to use an angle grinder.
Okay. Are we talking high school, after high school?
No, it'd be high school.
High school.
High school or intermediate.
Right.
One
Oh,
of the
intermediate.
Perhaps, yeah.
So, because back in the days of forms, Form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and those are the days I remember.
Man, I still operate on those.
So do I. My son tells me, Dad, I don't even know what it is. I'm sorry, Sean. But I was like, okay, that's Form. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's Form 1. Because he started intermediate. So let's have a look at some of these. Some of these absolute beauties that you've got. Yep, grab the mic, just pivot it out of the way. So what we've got is we've got 2 tea towels here, and inside these tea towels there's going to be a total of 3 knives. Yeah, just grab it.
Yeah, 3 knives. Yep. So
Rip
this
it towards you.
one here. I figured we might as well start with my latest build.
Okay, we're gonna have a look at the latest one. I'm gonna move your mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, you do that.
There you go. So so your latest build, was this a custom?
Yeah, so this is a commission. Yep, this one is heading over to Australia.
Right.
So this, once we get there.
Yep. Holy shit. Now, I'm going to hold this up. So I'm going to hold this up to my camera.
If you go, I don't know, you may want to jump up and take it close so people can see the layering.
There you go. So that's right in my shot. So what we've got is a power inlay.
Yep.
With Damascus steel.
Yep.
In
it's swamp Remu.
A swamp Remu body. Now,
yeah.
It's quite dense. It certainly feels quite light. I'm going to take the.
Yep. Go for it.
The weight is in the wood.
It's in the wood. Yeah, that's heartwood. Yeah.
This is unreal. This is so.
Sharp. So do be very, very careful.
That's why I'm gripping it like that.
I'm more worried about your tech.
Oh, yeah, true.
We heal.
That's I'm gonna throw that up. Can we see that in the Rocky's throwing the thumbs up? We can see it quite nicely. Can we see all the texturing in there as well?
So it's 300 layers.
300 layers of Damascus steel.
Yeah.
With abalone
New Zealand power handle
inlay.
Yeah, so
wow.
It's not inlaid actually. It's full 3-dimensional in there. So if you have a closer look, you can see it's absolutely 3-dimensional, and you can see through some of it.
Oh, you can.
Yep. Yeah. So it's not just a flat.
I can see the carpet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's a whole bunch of broken up.
Grab your mic. Bring it close. There you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of broken up shell that is then laid down in the casting resin, and it actually pokes through the casting resin when I'm casting it, and then I sand the top of it off. So you've got exposed shell there, and that's how it gets that real hardcore 3-dimensional look.
And it's just got such an amazing feel as well. And the blade itself feels oily.
Yeah, it is. It's oiled.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop that back because that is something now that belongs to someone.
It does. Yes, it does. Yes. Yep. Yeah, he has seen it.
Sorry, editor Rocky. That was a twang in the background. Now, you primarily work on commission work?
Yeah, 99% of everything is done by commission. Yeah.
So if I was, say, interested in getting one of these, I would reach out to you via Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I would kind of give you a bit of a description as to what I wanted you to do, and then you would kind of do up some drawings and sketches and send them off. Is that kind of how the process works for you?
Yeah, in a nutshell. So yeah, you'd find my page, the King's Mark Custom Knives, on Facebook. We're only on Facebook at the moment.
Yep.
We are in the throes of websites and all of that sort of stuff, but there's so much.
Let's go with
on
Facebook for now.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about sort of what's going on a bit later, because I think that's really interesting in itself.
Okay, so yeah, you jump on my Facebook page, and you go, ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
And then I want to place an order. I want to get a commission made.
Yeah.
And so you would find the little send message button at the top.
Yep.
On the top of the page, and you just chuck me a message in Messenger.
Okay. Right.
And then you're going to get back this really stupid auto reply that I can't get rid of.
Okay.
Oh, it drives me wild because it keeps resending.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just one of those things. And so then you're going to ignore that. And then
There's going to be a second message.
Yeah.
That'll come through from you.
Yeah, because yes, exactly. There will be a second personal message. And I'll say, hi, how's it going? How can I help? What are you after? What ideas do you have?
Yep.
Do you have something specific in mind? And you'll go, yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
And then I'll say, no, sorry, my name is not Malcolm in the middle.
Right.
And
yeah.
So I'm going to stop.
It's a great joke.
And then so if you've got an idea that's cool, then we have a basis to work from.
Yeah.
I'll chuck ideas at you, you chuck ideas at me, and we'll just let it roll.
Okay.
Let it flow. You might be trying to get a knife for a chef. That's so that's easy. We're after a cooking knife, a chef's knife, or a hunter, a deer hunter. Then if you want a deer hunting knife,
bowing knife, or something like that.
Yeah, it's easy. If you don't know, but you're like, okay, I have this person, I want to get them something, then generally what I do is I send you back to the page, go to the gallery, have a browse through the gallery, find something you really like the look of, screenshot it, show me.
Okay, yep.
And then from there, it's really, it starts to get really easy, because then we go, okay, cool, let's custom it to you.
Yeah, sure.
And we just come up with, honestly, the sky is the limit. We can do anything.
This particular knife here,
yeah.
I imagine it being custom would be not cheap, but I'm not going to ask the price, but I am going to ask you, from start to finish, how long did this take?
So that again, that's actually quite a tricky one, because I have 6 or 7 knives on the go at
the
once.
same time. Yep.
Because there's all sorts of different stages. There's this one's gluing, so I'm working on this one. This one's in the oven tempering, so I'm working on this one. Because there's a 2-hour tempering cycles for each knife.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so you go through heat treatment, and then so your blade becomes incredibly hard, but also incredibly brittle.
Right.
So and you can break them in your hands like glass.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how brittle they become.
That's very brittle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so then it's you take them and you bake them.
Right. Okay.
For 2 hours at 200 degrees twice.
So literally one after the other.
Yeah, you just let it cool to room temperature.
Yeah, and then throw it.
And then throw it back in.
Back
again,
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what that does is that takes the steel. It's still incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's still incredibly hard. But then you give it back its life, It becomes flexible again, but it has a memory still. So you end up with an incredibly hard knife that's got a nice bit of flex to it, but won't break.
Right. Okay. So are we, for something like this total, we talking like 100 hours?
Okay, so
if you were to put a number on it,
yeah.
I'm not saying it took me 93.72 hours.
It probably would be something like that. Yeah. I'm not getting the return. I'll never get the return that I should be getting. Like if I was to charge $60 an hour,
right?
Nobody would buy my knife.
No, yeah, that'd be a $6,000 knife.
It would never happen. Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to say that.
It might happen.
It's not happening yet.
Yeah, but it might.
Yeah, we've got time.
We do, which is good. So this is the most recent one.
This is the most recent one. Yep. This one was finished yesterday. I finished the box yesterday. Which was, of course, it was just perfect timing for this.
It's amazing timing.
Yeah, and there's a second one to go with it actually.
Okay.
But not a Damascus one.
Right. So let's have a look underneath the second tea towel. And let's have a look and see what we've got in here. Viewers and listeners, this is actually a real treat. We've had a lot of artists bring in, artwork and books and drawing and stuff like that, and we've been incredibly lucky. But where I feel we're getting a little bit of a bonus here is this knife that Manu's brought in, as he said, has just been finished, but we're now about to have a look at a knife that he did 20 plus years ago.
Yeah,
so
my very first.
Very first. So here we go.
So don't judge, okay?
There will be no judging here. There will be no judging here. Oh, look at that. Wow. So I'm going to hold that up to the camera. So this is... What are we talking? We're just talking stainless steel?
No, it's an old saw blade.
An old saw blade?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, that's another thing that I haven't really mentioned. I like to upcycle.
Right, okay.
A huge amount of my stuff is all upcycled, yeah.
Well, we're going to have an interesting little upcycling conversation near the end, which I'm very much looking forward to. So we've got a recycled saw blade with just a wooden handle.
Yeah, it's a bit of Totra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weight-wise, it's not too bad. But, I mean, I'm sure you would look at this objectively now and go, God, that was shit. We can compare the two, but I think the interesting thing is, and this is why it's fascinating for me, is this is the very first. So you can see the night and day difference. That's 20 plus years of growth and knowledge and learning and self-teaching and however you gathered your information. But I think that's absolutely fascinating. But you've got another sneaky little one in there as well.
Another sneaky little one.
Sneaky third.
So this is a very, very different style.
Okay.
This is a replica that I have made from a very, very old end of World War I to World War II British commando knife.
Okay, right.
And so this is what is called a Fairbairn Skies.
Hello.
Fairbairn Skies fighting knife.
Now this one's got a full leather sheath as well.
Full leather sheath, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So what have we got here? So thank you very much. So we've got okay. Oh right. Okay, so we've got it's a nice black leather sheath. It's something. Where would one wear this?
Well, that was.
Is this something that would be worn?
It would be, yes.
Okay.
The whole design of that sheath was that it could be worn in multiple places.
Okay.
It could be tucked into your sock. It could be strapped on your leg, on your hip.
Yeah.
On your chest. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this out. Oh, look at that. That's definitely got a very nice. I don't even know why it popped into my head. I was going to say, it's got a very nice stabby weight to it. But it does. I mean, it's
pointy stabby thing.
Yeah. It's this is really amazing. And this is Damascus as well.
That one there is the highest layer count I've made to date,
which is
1,440 layers.
Now, for reference, this is
300.
This is over 4 times the amount, nearly 5 times the amount of layers that goes into this one.
Yeah.
How long did this one? Are we talking?
I made that over the period of about 6 months.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so sort of on and off.
Yeah. So that was for one of my best friends' birthday presents. He turned 40, and he's always wanted one. His wife. I think it was his girlfriend at the time. Now she's his wife. She contacted me sneakily and said, "Okay, look, I've got this much to spend. I know he's always wanted one of these. What can you do?"
Yeah.
And I turned around and said, "Oh, well, hey, look, I'll tell you what. You put in what you're going to put in, and I'll make the rest up. And we'll have something absolutely phenomenal for him."
Yeah.
I didn't tell her that what I put in was more than what she put in. She might know now.
What's the handle?
So the handle is stacked leather.
It's that is leather.
That's leather.
That does not feel like leather at all.
No,
that's amazing. I'm gonna hold that up to my camera. Rocky, can we see that clearly? He's kind of having a look there. I know it's dark, but there are some really beautiful layers in there, which I'm guessing the leather is stacked up on top of each other.
The leather
like
is stacked that way, yeah.
And then we've got. I don't think we're going to be able to see the pattern of the Damascus.
No, the higher the layer count, the harder it is to see the pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the more you pay, the more layers you get, the harder it is to see your beautiful work.
I think if I can get the light refracting off there, we might see it. No, Rocky's kind of going, kind of, but you could do better.
I've got some photos up on my page of that
that'd be
one.
Great, yeah.
If people want to actually see what 1,440 layers looks like, they're welcome to go on, check it out. There's some close-up shots where it's in full detail.
That's Facebook, The King's Mark,
The
right?
King's Mark.
We'll throw that up on the screen, maybe somewhere in there. I think that's a good one. I always tell everyone what to do. That's... It's. I'm still so fascinated between here and here.
It's a jump.
It's a huge jump, and it just shows the skill set that's been acquired along the way. You know, you can see where this started, and you'd almost look at that and go, yeah, 100%. I can see you were always meant to end up here. Whether or not you knew that is kind of another story.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. I really didn't. Okay, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because there is something that we haven't managed to get into it yet. This is hand forged.
Okay.
Okay, so it's now I'm a full-time bladesmith.
Okay.
That's all I do.
Right.
There are very few of us full-time smiths in New Zealand.
Yep.
There are others, but very few of us. And I think, so I'm going to say very few, but I think I'm the only one who solely hand forges. I don't use hydraulics or electricity in my forging process.
It is literally...
It's all hand-beaten
steel.
steel.
Process.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. There are other smiths who do hand forge.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure that no one else that's full-time hand forges.
That's unreal.
Mm.
And that is what you see in the movies. It's the person on the anvil going kabang, kabang. That's hand forging.
That's hand forging.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must have a pretty impressive setup at home then.
It is. It's just specific bits of kit.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It actually doesn't take a hell of a lot of really intricate equipment. It's just having the perseverance to be able to. Okay, 1,440 layers.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Hand forged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be the biggest thing would be time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. It is not uncommon for me to be pulling 14-hour days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, okay. Long days.
Long days.
But, I mean, we everyone that's been, watching so far can clearly see that it is 100% visible.
Absolutely.
With what you do.
Yeah. There was, I made a pair of fighting knives, like quite solid fighting knives. They'd be classed as short swords.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a pair of them. They went off to the same guy, but they were what's called Turkish twist.
Okay.
The 2-bar Turkish twist. So
Okay.
make my billet of steel, and then I forge it out, and then I turn it into round bar, and then I twist the round bar, and then I forge the round bar back to square bar, and then I do that twice, and then I join the bars lengthways.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a process.
It is, and that's quite a basic one.
Right.
And then I will forge out the blade out of that, and that's your Turkish twist. So what you end up with is 2 twists doing this all the way down the blade.
Whole length of the blade.
Length of the blade.
Wow.
Okay. So I made 2 of those in one sitting, and it was 3 14-hour days of hand forging.
Just for those.
Yeah, just for those. And it was 3 days back to back. Normally I don't do that.
Okay.
By the end of it, I couldn't feel my hand.
RSI and...
The hand had gone numb.
Okay,
yep.
yeah.
I was stuck in a claw-like grip. It was doing damage. And so it was silly. I should have spread it out, but at the time,
Yeah. We all make mistakes. So we've got... This is the part that I've been looking forward to. Now... For the listeners and viewers, I'm going to ask a series of questions of Manu, and he's going to tell you about a project that he's got coming up. So he's got... This one is very, very cool. So you recently got... Was it recently commissioned to make 2 special knives?
It is 2 special knives, yeah.
2 special knives.
We won't say what they're for.
Well, let's not do that.
Because they will... there's a potential that could ruin a surprise.
There is. So that will have its own revealing process.
Yeah.
What are these knives, the blades themselves, what are these blades going to be made out of?
Okay.
I've been dying for this question for nearly an hour. I'm like, I just want to ask this question.
See it on your face, man. Yeah. Okay, so it's the blade themselves are going to be meteorite Damascus steel.
That's right. An actual meteorite. Now, where did you source this meteorite from?
Well, actually, I got it on Trade Me.
Okay.
It's from Ethiopia.
An Ethiopian actual meteorite. Editor Rocky's eyes almost popped right out of their sockets. So you got... now, that's only half of it. I will point that out, everyone. It's only half of it. So you went on Trade Me and you searched up meteorite or something like that, and then someone was like... I've got something. You were like, I would like to purchase this something. And then you have a meteorite that's on its way.
On its way.
From Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Now, that's just the blade.
That's just the blade.
That's just the blade, right?
Yeah, so
now,
it'll be Damascus meteorite. So I will be mixing terrestrial steels with it as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be it's going to be E.T.'s knife.
Yeah.
Now, the handle. This one also... Wait, look... Rocky is just like, what the hell are we in for? Okay, the handle itself is going to be comprised of something else that's also rather unique as well. Would you care to share that with everyone?
Okay. So the handle will be okay. So it'll have a bit of abalone, the power in it as well. But the majority of the handle is actually going to be made from a megalodon tooth. A legit megalodon tooth.
A megalodon.
Yeah. Yep. And I have that already. That's sitting at home. Yep.
So I just want to recap. You are going to be making a blade from a meteorite, and in the handle there will be a megalodon tooth.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And folks, honestly, I'm gonna look straight down my wide camera. I can't make this shit up. I kid you not, when Manu and I were sitting down talking about it before, I didn't know what to say. I think the young kids would call that extra. That is extra. But that's...
Oh, is that the word, is it?
That is the word, apparently.
Okay.
But that's a hell of a... And now, that's a gift for someone, right? Someone's actually commissioned you for that.
Well, okay, so it started out as I've got to do something different.
Yes.
For my work to get out there, well, I've always said I don't want to be famous. I don't want the limelight on me.
Yeah.
But I want them to be famous.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I want to be famous. That right there. And so to do that, I've got to do something different.
Yeah. Well,
I've done a few world firsts already. I did a cuttlefish quill handle.
Cuttlefish.
Yeah.
Holy.
So
okay.
I can stabilize materials and make them incredibly hard. Like rotten wood. I can stabilize rotten wood and make it really, really hard.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can take anything that's porous and I can impregnate it with resin.
Right, okay.
And then cure it. And it can take up to 3 months to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do that with the megalodon tooth. I'll have to stabilize it.
Yeah.
So that'll sit in the stabilizing chamber for probably about 3 months.
Yeah. Now, this you recently had a post on Facebook that has actually garnered a significant amount of attention.
Oh, you're talking about my cry for help?
Well, I wasn't. Not that.
Not that one?
No, I mean the knife that you recently posted.
Oh, right, the Jewel of the Ocean.
Now, we're going to throw a picture up here. I'll find an asset for Jewel of the Ocean, because this is an amazing piece of work. Tell us about that.
Oh, right. So, I don't know if we can use names yet.
Let's not use names. We don't need names.
Because I'm not sure if he's got it yet.
Let's say that you were commissioned.
I was commissioned
to make something unique. But I think I will go out on a limb here and say, without looking into the future and seeing what the asteroid megalodon blade will look like, it's not a sentence I ever expected to say. Without having a look at that blade, I think this blade itself is absolutely amazing. And it's beautiful.
Without a doubt, it's my finest work to date. Yeah, it really is. It took everything from me, and I put everything of me into it.
Yeah,
and blood, sweat, tears. I in my write-up, I've stated that I've rejoiced, I've cried, I've been overwhelmed, I've bled, I've sweat. I don't know if I physically shed a tear at any stage during it.
But it's okay if you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, men cry.
Men cry. We're in touch with our emotions.
You're going to have to play the Tool Time
I know.
music.
You know. Tim the Toolman Taylor represent.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so, and that was a 6-month build as well. So that is, if I'm doing a build like this, then I ask for a long period of time to do it. You order way in advance, which you kind of have to because I've got a 6 months waiting list for my work at the moment anyways. But a 6-month build allows me to work on it when I'm really in the zone.
Okay.
And only when I'm really in the zone. Like you can have, everybody has their off days. Everybody has their,
of course,
their moments when they're absolutely on form, you know. And so if I've got a really, really, really special build, then and I've got the time, then I can pick my moments, and I'll only work on it when I know that I'm firing on all 8 cylinders, you know. So
it's the jewel of the ocean.
The jewel of the ocean. Hang on. How do I word it? Aotearoa's Jewel of the Ocean.
Aotearoa's Jewel of the Ocean.
Yeah.
This is the one that you have taken 20 years of this.
Yep.
Through to this. And you pour your heart and soul and everything into it.
Yeah, man. It takes everything.
Yeah.
It really does.
And I know for a fact that knife is widely celebrated because of how amazing it is. And have a look at the Facebook page again. Is
the King's Mark Custom Knives.
The King's Mark. It will be one of the top posts. I guarantee it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's probably 4 or 5 down now, but yeah, it's
okay.
It's
yep.
right, yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
Now this is all kind of. Now you're backed up with work at the moment.
Yep, 6 months.
6 months. People have to wait. Now it's really, really interesting how you got 6 months.
Yeah.
And this was kind of the last part I wanted to talk about because, again, my brother Glenn reached out to me and said that I needed to get in touch with you.
Yep.
Because you weren't 6 months booked up in advance.
No, not at all.
You were on
a knife edge?
That's good to know, listeners and viewers, that I am not the only one with bad dad jokes. That's amazing. But you really were on a razor's edge.
We were. Absolutely we were. Yeah.
You know, it was, you had, I got to make sure I get this right. You still had a little bit of work left, but the commissions had stopped coming in.
The commissions had stopped. The algorithm on social media was no longer working for us.
Right. Okay.
We had to change something up, and it was just we were dead in the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So for any business, there's dire straits.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you put out a post in the New Zealand forging community.
No, it was just on my on my page.
On your page.
And yeah, basically I just reached out because I was on my last commission.
Right. Okay.
I
wow.
didn't have anything more on the books. We were. Yep. It was make it or break it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I figured, oh well, stuff it. I'll bite my pride. And I will reach out. I'll tell people what's going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't say I need money. I didn't say I need you to place commissions.
Yeah.
What I did was I reached out. I told people what was happening, what had happened, how the orders had just stopped coming in.
Yeah.
And that's that's because times are tough for everybody at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we got beaten up by a bloody cyclone called Gabriel.
We all got thrashed by Gabriel.
We did.
We got and everyone talks about how bad Hawke's Bay got it and how bad Gisborne got it, but Northland really got its hiney spanked by Gabriel.
That's the only thing I had picture in my mind was
bent over and down trout and just got spanked.
Yeah. She spanked us good.
She did. So yeah, of course, money's tight. We've got people that are, losing homes because of Cyclone Gabriel.
Yeah,
the last
absolutely.
thing they're going to be doing is going, well, I've just lost my $500,000 property. Let's get a knife.
Yeah.
Let's do a custom order because that makes sense. But you did that, And the response, was it what you were expecting?
Oh, no, nothing like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like it. I was not prepared for what followed. And that's the most, in layman's terms, the easiest way I can say that. I was not prepared for what followed.
And that's, I think that's a testament to the work that you've done and work that you continue to do, where there's such an outpouring of love and people wanting to see what you do continue.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You are. Look, I think we've all seen the work that you've done, and I think it speaks for itself. It's amazing. So, just because it's 6 months booking doesn't mean you shouldn't order a commission, because it could be 7, could end up being 10. Now, but the other cool thing is that you are going to be somewhere amazing in Hamilton. But later on this year, talk us through a bit about that.
Yeah, well, that's quite exciting. So since you contacted me,
yes,
there was this little segment in your pre-questions that said, "Do you have any events coming up?" And I was like, "Nah, not really. Just
what events
the
do you
podcast.
have coming up that you would like to promote?" Unfortunately, I don't get time to attend events. Still haven't made it to Auckland. I still haven't made it to the Auckland Blade Show. However, I do have some very exciting builds coming up. One being the meteorite Damascus build with a megalodon tooth handle.
Oh, so we did know about that at that stage.
We did know about that.
Oh, but I only wrote that out like a week ago, though, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah. It's about a week ago.
Okay, so the exciting event that is now taking shape is the Seeker Show at Mystery Creek Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
At the showgrounds there. Yeah. So now here's the kicker. I didn't contact them.
They reached out to you.
I was invited.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now that's the bit that's got me going, oh shit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It could have been anyone. Could have been.
They could have. As you said, there are other full-time forgers throughout New Zealand. Not many, but there are others. And but they chose you
for some reason.
Well, we've seen why. It's not some reason. It's not like, I put together an average job.
It will always be for some reason to me. Yeah. In the same aspect, I will always call myself a beginner.
Okay, right.
I believe that once you call yourself an expert, then you're kind of shutting down the potential to keep expanding.
Yep.
And to keep learning and to keep growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but there's a very cool thing about going to the Seeker Show at Mystery Creek, isn't it? Because you're not just going to go there and go, here's my product.
Yeah. Well, like I wrote down in the questionnaire, I don't get time to make stock.
No.
Not with 6 months backlog. And if you're going to go to a show, you want to take a whole selection of knives and stuff.
Nice range that people can walk up and buy, but you're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah. So I will actually be forging on site.
On site.
Yeah, live demonstration. I'll be forging. I'm going to be making 2 Damascus hunting knives. It's a hunting show. Let's make hunting knives.
Yeah.
So I will be doing the bulk forging down there for both these knives. One on one day, then one on the next. And the way that I'll make a little bit of funding out of it, probably just to cover the trip, the expenses, the time off work, all that sort of stuff, is to raffle those 2 knives off.
Brilliant.
So the guys, the punters, will be able to see me. They'll be able to come, shake my hand, have a yarn, ask questions.
Yep, good.
I'll be there. Emily will be there. My girlfriend will be there. She'll be in the gazebo. She'll be taking some orders. We'll have a portfolio there of all my work, or a lot of my work. And people can go and have a browse through the photos, and then they can talk to Emily and she can take orders. She'll take a very, very brief description of an order and contact details, and then I will contact everyone afterwards.
Yep.
But the 2 knives that I'll be forging, we'll be raffling them off there, and they will cover the expenses and the time.
So for us, a lot of firsts. The meteorite megalodon blade, again, not a sentence I ever thought I'd say, and then you attending the Seeker Show at Mystery Creek. Now that's in September?
That's in October.
Yeah,
it's 28th.
28th and 29th? Or 27th and 28th?
Might be the 20th, 29th. We'll have to check that. I actually put a post up on my page before I came in.
Check the Kingsmark
dates
page.
are there.
Dates are there.
Yeah.
if you can get there, if you need to fly in from somewhere, like, I don't know, Christchurch, for example, I would 100% recommend flying in and having a look. It will be a very unique experience. I can safely say I've been to quite a few AMP shows around the country. Not something I've ever seen.
No, it will be, it's really unique. I don't know if it's a first for them. I doubt they've ever had anyone forging on site before. I don't think they have, because we're actually having to go through quite a bit of rigmarole to make sure it happens. With the forge, I'm actually going to have to build a new forge to take with me.
Oh wow, travelling forge.
A travelling forge, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but a special one too. It's got to have heat shrouds and cowlings and all sorts of stuff. So
Wow.
I've got to do all of that just to make this happen.
Yep. Okay. So it's still a lot of work for you to do.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Manu, thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us. I think your story is amazing. And where you're at the moment is a real testament of perseverance. Thank you so much on behalf of the Northland Artist Conversation team and everyone that watches and listens. Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh man, hey, look, it's been an absolute ball.
Thank you.
I've loved it. Yeah.
Well, there we go, folks. Manu King. Unreal. Now, I said at the start, when I was doing my intro, that there was something pretty amazing. And meteorite megalodon blade is certainly a sentence I never thought I would say in my entire life. But how cool is that? That's amazing. He's going to take something that's come from outer space, blend it into an actual blade, and then he's making a freaking handle that's going to have a bit of megalodon tooth in it. Stop it. It's amazing. That is, like, as I said, it's next level. Next level. It's brilliant. So I'm going to go from my wide camera because I'm just far too excited. I'm going to go to that camera. The interesting thing I got out of this whole podcast, apart from the meteor megalodon blade, because that's amazing. The big thing I got out of it is it's interesting to see the life he's led, and he brings in 3 blades, and he has the one that he's just finished, and we're recording this end of March basically, and he'd finished the blade like the day before, but he also brings in his very first blade as well, and to see the night and day difference, and you can see that the skill and the research and the constant doing and practice and the grind to get to the point where he is now to be an absolutely amazing bladesmith is legendary. Holding that knife, the one he'd just finished, holding that knife, that blade was unlike anything. The wood that the blade sat in was I'd say probably a good 2 times heavier than the actual blade itself. It's amazing. It's beautiful to look at as well. So if you do get a chance to watch the podcast, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. So speaking of that, where can you find us? Well, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Northland Artist Conversation. For the audio, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Again, Northland Artist Conversation. And if you are someone that is creative, or if you know someone who's creative and you think they would be great in the couch, or you think you'd love to sit in the chair, you can email us hello@northlandartistconversation.co.nz. We try and keep it as simple as possible. If you would like to support the podcast a little bit more, look, we appreciate all the likes and the love hearts and the subscribing. That is all amazing. Please continue to do all of that. It's great for us. But if you want to support us a little bit more, we have a Patreon page as well. That is where you can donate to support and keep us going. And we have 2 tiers. The first tier we have is cup of coffee. That's $5 a month. At the end of the day, it's not really much of anything. It's $5. I think a large coffee costs more than that now. But we also have a second tier, and that second tier is what we've affectionately called Coffee Addict. That's $20 a month, but that gives you a couple of extra bonuses that you don't get on the cup of coffee one. The first one is you get a shout out, and we've got some patrons. I'm going to send them a shout out. Second one is that you will get to know in advance what artists are coming out. And if you have a question that you would like me to ask them, I will ask that question for you, as long as it's appropriate. We could possibly have some oddly inappropriate ones come through. I'll do my best. That is $20 a month and is well worth it. Again, it's little things like that kind of help keep this podcast going. So you can find us one of two ways. You can go to Google, type in Patreon, that's Patreon, top right-hand corner. You will find a little login page, create an account, login, and then search Northland Artist Conversation. You'll find us there, and then you can go from there. The instructions are pretty simple. The other way you can find us is you can go to www.patreon.com/Northland Artist Conversation. Nice and simple, and you can sign up that way as well. So that's great. I am going to throw to my wide again. 2023 has been a great year for talent that we've had on, and we've had some amazing podcasts. We've got some amazingly cool people coming up, and I'm working really hard. I'm trying to get a couple of specific people, really hoping that we can, get them across the line. That would be absolutely amazing to have on. 2022 was a great year. We've only been going for 9 months, and it's hard to believe what caliber of people we've had on, and we are so fortunate, and we thank everyone for coming on. So on behalf of myself, Northland Artist Conversation team, thank you very much. My name is Mark Kelly. Thank you very much for watching the Northland Artist Conversation, and we'll see you guys real soon.